Yo, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. So today we're going to be showing off the new Flundereeze archetype. This is the new boss bird archetype that is kind of an anti-meta slash rogue playstyle. It gets out a boss monster that basically stops all of your opponent's special summon monsters effects unless they are in defense position. That's basically what you want to do with the archetype. And then also following with barrier statue, you can even throw monarchs in here. There's a few different builds that I want to share with you guys from a variety of players. This one's just by player over here, but this is the first duel that is going to be going first, and it's showing you guys kind of what you're trying to set up versus this Adamantipator like variant with Tremint. But nonetheless, it doesn't really matter too much. You get out this card. M-Pen is the boss monster of the deck pretty much. There's another boss monster, and it gives you 3 normals, additionals, but M-Pen is way better because it locks your opponent out of going for the any special summons in attack position. But to follow that up, as soon as he is tribute summoned, you get to add a Flundereeze spell / trap from your deck to your hand, which can be a giant Book of Moon. You can also add a lot of other things, but pretty much you're going to be able to add another card, and you get an additional normal summon. And then on top of that, while you control the tributed summon monster, your opponent cannot activate the effects of special monsters in attack position. And on top of that, because that wasn't enough, right? Once per battle, if it battles an opponent's monster during damage calculation, you banish a card from your hand, and that monster's attack and defense become halved. So basically, unless you have over 5,000 attack, you're pretty much not running this over. Even if you were to negate this card's effect, you still have to have a relatively strong monster to be able to potentially even combat it, granted depending on what the effect that you're stopping. But if you're just completely negating its effects, sometimes they can still get out cards during your turn when you're going up against them. But the ideal play for the deck is to M-Pen your opponent turn 1 and also get out a barrier statue turn 1, and what you do is you surprise them with a Ryza on their turn, actually bouncing back some of their cards, and then you basically win the next turn. But that's kind of like the play style of the deck. That's the deck going first. But let's go ahead and see the deck going second. In fact, this is an excellent duel because it shows you guys the example of not only it going second and what you can do, but the guy also has some hand traps. He's going to actually draw into another hand trap, which you guys will see later down the line. But more importantly, it's to show you guys that there's a lot of things that don't really affect this deck, and some players, you know, that play a deck where it's like turn 1 Scythe, which you guys will see in the upcoming duel here. This one is by Nautilus over here. This is more of what I consider like a standard-ish build, like playing Ryza and even the Apex Avian. Like, these are what I consider relatively standard for the deck, but you can like play a more Monarch heavy variant in the deck, although that one can lead to more bricky hands. The deck is pretty consistent because how it works is you get a lot of benefits off of a monster being banished. So if a Winged Beast is normal summoned while this card is banished, you get to add this card back to your hand. You can add back a lot of the banished cards. So this is an excellent duel because the guy is going to make a Dark Law, and to show you guys, Dark Law doesn't even hurt the deck. In fact, it almost helps it in some circumstances, depending on like what your hands are. You know, he's going to go ahead and hand trap that. He's also got another follow-up Neos, so when he attacks into him, he will be able to boost the monster up by 2,500. So we have the Rabina, and this card has the effect where if it's normal, you get to add a level 4 or lower Winged Beast monster from your... you know what? This is going to be too... It's too fast, but... Because you get to see how fast you can search out with it. But anyways, yeah, you get to add a level 4 or lower Winged Beast monster from your deck to your hand. Then, immediately after this effect resolves, you get to normal summon another one. And then, if a Winged Beast monster is normal summoned while this card is banished, you get to add it back to your hand. So there's a lot of recyclability with this deck, and a lot of the times the cards will have the effect of, if this face-up card leaves the field, you banish it. But that's fine because it doesn't really even hurt you at all. And then we also have the City of Dreams, which is another really cool card where you can banish this card to change all monsters your opponent controls to face down defense position. So it almost reminds me of like the dinosaur ability, the Superconductor Tyranno. You can flip everything face down, which is really nice. The deck doesn't really focus too much on like a super OTK variant, but the guy's just like, okay, yeah, if you make Ryza and I can't use any special summon effects from attack position, then you're gonna have to defense position and then maybe pop the card and then follow up with the play. But the deck is very, very good at recovery, which you guys will see in the next duel over here, also showing off against the Datascape archetype. And there's a lot of really good cards in the archetype, like Jack in the Hand. This is one of the more recent cards. It's just really good, which lets you reveal 3 level 1 monsters with different names. Your opponent adds 1 to their hand, and you add 1 to your hand. Then you shuffle the other card back from the deck. So it deck thins really, really well. And then on top of that, you get to search out for Rabina, which is kind of like the heart and soul console of basically most of your combos. Most variants will be playing multiple copies of that card anyways. But he's going to go make Perrin the Skylark Dragon. This is an OCG card as of right now. But he decides to make a Scythe. Scythe obviously is a pretty good card though. You cannot special summon monsters from the extra deck. But the second duel I showed you guys, like if you're up against Dr. Law or anything that banishes really heavy, it doesn't affect you. If you are playing against an archetype that says you can't make things from the extra deck, it doesn't matter. I mean, look at the extra deck. It's literally irrelevant. Although I'd still recommend to play, you know, your standard like Nightmare cards, just because you never know when you might need a certain card to come out. So pretty much the deck plays around a lot of mechanics that normally Yu-Gi-Oh! Meta decks would simply just lose to, because it doesn't rely on the extra deck, and on top of that, it has very, very good recovery, and it doesn't worry too much about being banished. So he's going to attack over Beatrice over here. Beatrice is going to send a card, but we're going to also change the attack and defense and halving it. Really, really awesome stuff. And again, he can't use any of the effects of the monsters in attack position. Flundereeze, the Dreams is coming out, and this is the card that's going to flip everything. But again, you'll be able to summon during your opponent's turn as well, which is really, really, really good. If your opponent normal summons a monster, you can also normal summon a Flundereeze monster. But on top of that, some of the other cards will let you get out whatever you need. Ryza, because they'll give you like an additional normal summon, is what most of the things do in the archetype, like you guys already saw with the Impen, right? And the Impen effect is just a normal, shoot, it's too fast, the deck is too fast. But yeah, if you Ryza someone during your opponent's turn, because everything is wind anyways, you just get to bounce back with the bonus effect of the Mega Monarch. So you tribute it by tributing a tribute summon monster, and then you get to target one card in the field, and if another one is a win, you get to target an additional card. You place the first target on the top of the deck, and then return the additional target to the hand. So you get to bounce one to the hand and put one to the top of the deck. So it gets rid of like double things that would be problematic. And then when you have a barrier statue, it's harder for some archetypes. Obviously, with the Datascape, they have a lot of wins, so it kind of works out. He's going to go ahead and imperm the YuGiOh over here, and he's going to attack over the barrier statue, finally able to make other things. He also has this card over here that has that quick effect to have so both players draw a card, but not going to be too useful with one attachment over there. Now we have Egan's effect. A lot of them again just give you that additional normal summon of a winged beast monster. Hey, this happens to be a winged beast monster, so it doesn't even only work for just the archetype. This guy even splashed in Shasta Player over here. He decided to play Dark Samorg, which, yeah, it's a cool idea. Unfortunately, Dark Samorg's only like kind of like a turn 1 play, I would say. But against certain archetypes, maybe. But for the most part, Yu-Gi-Oh's just gotten way too fast for Dark Samorg to even really get a chance. And if you want to also do the anti-spell fragrance, yeah, but that's like requiring you to like open up with a lot of stuff. And you guys are seeing against the Datascape, like the kind of the grind game here, because the deck can definitely play a grind game if you want to, and that's one thing that's so powerful with the deck. But I do want to show the deck's weakness as well, going over like what it can lose to. But I still think it's one of the best decks in the game. But there's a card that some archetypes will have access to in the extra deck that will actually beat it, which you guys will see in a moment. So we have the City of Dreams coming out once again. A lot of this stuff just ends up recycling itself in the deck. As you guys can see, like, look how many cards are already on the board after, like, basically losing a bunch of cards. It doesn't really matter too much because all the cards are just, like, banished, get it for free. And now we Book of Moon to everything. So who needs the Lunar Eclipse, Book of Moon, like the new Secret Super Book of Moon? Don't even need it, man. You just book everything. And then we have Dark Samorg coming out. I mean, to be honest, this card is kind of just funny. It makes it so people can't set cards. Like I said, it's a good turn 1 thing. Other than that, not too good. And wow, look at how many cards they have in their hand. Like, that's just unreal. Now, I've showed the deck again and again, like, just dominate, but I also want to show it, like, losing. So this guy, JoJo's playing more of a Monarch variant. So, like, you can play cards like Return of the Monarchs. I mean, the deck does technically tribute summon, and it's just that when you tribute summon a monster, it doesn't even have to be a Monarch monster. You can get the searches out. Unfortunately, he gets striked over here. So that could be part of a weakness that the deck does have. It kind of lives off of its summon. So if you immediately stop its first summon, kind of like if you know, if you played against like GBs back in the day, or even Blackwings back in the day, pretty much once they lose their first summon. Like, nowadays, Yu-Gi-Oh's gotten a lot faster. A lot of decks will have, like, other plays. But some archetypes, they really rely off that first summon. But he's got an AA Zeus over here. But it is in defense position, which is kind of important, which you guys will see so much right. So, if you just keep on stopping the summons, yeah. if you negate all of like the summons for the deck, I mean, you could say that with basically any deck though. If you just negate every summon, then they can't play. But hold on, give him a second. He will have a chance now to go ahead and combat. Now the cards are in attack position, so he's going to give him Jack in the hand, and we're going to see that Rubina. We're going to start actually adding some extra cards and start summoning, getting those free cards. Once again, see, this is why the deck is just so good at recovery. So we have Impen. They gain all of the effects of the opponent's attack position monsters that are special summoned. And on top of that, you're going to be able to basically run over everything. He does get rid of the field spell, which lets you reveal one, and then you banish one, and then you get an additional summon. And now he's going to be able to attack over that monster, and he's going to take some damage moving that monster off the board. Perhaps you didn't want him to like get a super boss like monster and attack in one shot. He's like, okay, I'll just attack it, take some damage right now. He's going to go ahead and make the Megaclops. Megaclops attacking into this, but this card does have the ability to half it, but this card is immune to other monster effects, and it can't be destroyed by battle unless it's with an Seized monster, and they're not going to be making Seized monsters. So one thing that the deck can technically lose to is maybe a boss monster that has like immune to other card effects, as they heavily, I would say at the moment, rely off of Empen and Ryze to deal with problematic cards, as well as obviously Barrier Statue to prevent you from summoning. So Barrier Statue would have been a better option versus going for the Monarch plays, but kind of depends on your playstyle. But now that you guys have seen all these different builds from like JoJo and all these other people, Player and Nautilus over here, big shout out to all of them for their builds. I've got all their builds over here so you guys can kind of see a idea of different ways that you can play the deck. Heck, some people are even main decking Dimension Shifter over here that just lets you banish everything. You can even opt to run Icarus Attack. I'm just going to include these as like downloadable files if you guys want in the Discord, so you guys can go ahead and just download them via the Discord. And I'm just going to mouse over these really quick as there's like multiple different deck profiles. But most people are playing Apex Avian, and this, like I said, it doesn't even hurt you, and it can definitely prevent your opponent from popping off. But if they do pop off, you can Dark Rule no more, and then they lose all of, well, more likely you'll attack over the stronger monsters anyways. And then on top of that, they're not going to be able to activate their effects because you'll have Endpen out. And that stops all of their effects. But keep in mind, there are some cards that will be able to be activated in the defense position. So yeah, but for the extra deck, I recommend it basically looking like this. Like you definitely want to run like your standard Cerberus, Phoenix, and Unicorn. It's just because it's better than throwing like cards that you're never going to make. Although I guess you can maybe try. You do have the ability for Veiler, so you can throw in some Synchros too. But I would recommend the Nightmare Engine for sure. I think running 2 copies of Empen is like ideal, as it's one of like the best monsters, and then this is also like kind of a boss monster. I don't know how I feel about some more. Lancia is okay as well. You guys can see the other different Wing Beast cards. There's also another card for draw power, which we'll go over in a future like update, as they are going to be getting more support later down the line, and they are already looking what I would consider pretty powerful. But anyways, guys, these are just 3 different builds that you guys can kind of mess around with and try out. Let me know, guys, what you think of the Flundereeze archetype. I think they easily are one of the best decks that is upcoming into the new Yu-Gi-Oh! Next format, and it doesn't look like there's anything that would completely wreck this deck other than stopping it from summoning and then going for the Infinite Track card. But that was like, the guy had multiple negates, and then he pulled that off after he lost his board. Like the Flundereeze player was still trying to come out on top because they could just have insane recovery for sure. But anyways, if you guys enjoyed the video, drop a like on it. If you guys are new here and do want to see more new Yu-Gi-Oh! Archetypes in action like the Flundereeze, subscribe, turn the bell, and you'll definitely see more very soon. But take care. I'll catch you guys in the next vid. Peace.